Hello everyone, my name is Paul Krauss and I'm a licensed professional counselor. I'm the clinical director of Health for Life Grand Rapids, which also contains within its walls the Trauma-Informed Counseling Center of Grand Rapids. At the Trauma-Informed Counseling Center of Grand Rapids, all of our clinicians specialize in basic counseling and regular therapy, but also are trained in trauma-informed techniques and trauma-specific therapies such as EMDR therapy, trauma-focused cognitive behavioral therapy, and somatic experiencing therapy, to name a few. One of the things that I've talked to a lot of people about recently is when you're going through a really hard time in your life, or for instance, your entire community is suffering and going through something at a time like that, what happens sometimes is that we go into kind of a low-grade trauma response, especially if it's kind of the greater community that's being affected. And what happens is we have a little bit of fight, a little bit of flight, a little bit of freeze, and a little bit of collapse, and kind of going in a cycle like that. Whereas if you have a major trauma happen to you, one of those things will happen right away as a trauma response. But with kind of a difficult time in our world right now, people are kind of just slowly feeling trauma creep up on them. And they feel very out of control, anxious, angry, frustrated, upset, scared, frightened. And what I want to let you know is that's all normal to feel that. It's normal responses from the nervous system, and your emotional body is trying to exert feelings and get those feelings out. So one of the feelings is fight. A lot of people are scared about their jobs or what's going to happen to loved ones, and they want to do something about it. Well, I encourage you, do something about it, but don't always remain in fight. It's important to talk to people about your mental well-being and your emotional well-being and get in community in whatever way you can. There's also flight. Some people just want to not even think about the problems in their community. They want to run away from it. They want to deny it. And that's not healthy either, but it's part of the process. Fight, flight, freeze. Some people freeze. They don't know what to do. They feel like they don't have anything to contribute, but that's not true. Everybody can do something if you just work on being kind and utilizing your gifts and your voice. There's also collapse, which is a little bit scary, which is when somebody is so frightened or so angry and so frustrated that they just don't do anything in response to a crisis and basically completely isolate within maybe a greater isolation, which can lead to very major problems with anxiety, depression, and other mental health concerns. Also, when your community is going through a hard time, you might also enter the stages of grief and anything I mentioned before with the fight, flight, freeze response. This is all normal. Don't be ashamed. Don't be guilty of your emotions or your feelings, your responses. Talk to somebody about it. If you don't have anybody in your family or friend group that you feel that you can talk to about this, reach out to a counselor. There are counselors online now. We've got a lot of that at Health for Life Grand Rapids. All of our counselors do that. And in times when you can, go to see a therapist in person. There are self-help books, there are podcasts, there are different ways you can get connected and get knowledge. There's obviously books on the subject. So sometimes when we feel scared and we feel alone, we feel anxious and we feel frustrated, we think this is never going to end, there's no answer. But let me tell you, humans have been populating the earth for a long time, and people have been taking that knowledge and accumulating it and distilling it, and they've been writing books, and they've been doing talks, they've been doing podcasts, and people and your elders know some of this wisdom. So reach out, you're not alone. Whatever you're going through right now, which may be multiple things considering the state of the world right now, remember that there is hope and there is going to be something after this dark cloud. Your life will not always be like this. It may be this way for a while, but remember that there is hope and there is always a renewal state in our lives when difficult things happen. So if you have any questions, we are answering our phones and answering our emails at Health for Life Grand Rapids, and you can check out my podcast, which is the Intentional Clinician Podcast. It's on all platforms. You can check out our online counseling services. We're offering sliding scale fees when people are in difficult times, and a lot of our clinicians can actually take Medicaid as well as all private insurances and cash pay clients as well. And obviously, we're very excited to work with anybody who's able to come to the office whenever that can happen again. So thanks so much for listening. This is Paul Krauss, and I'll be sending some more videos your way soon.